Imagine a company so powerful it could take on the entire debt of a nation. A company whose stock price soared so high, so fast, that it created millionaires overnight. But what if it was all built on a lie? Today, we're diving into the incredible story of the South Sea Bubble. The first mega corporate fraud that crashed an entire market and left a trail of financial ruin in its wake. This isn't just a history lesson. It's a cautionary tale that still echoes in our modern financial world. The year is 1711. Great Britain is drowning in debt from years of war. The government is desperate for a solution. Enter the South Sea Company. It was founded with a grand, ambitious plan to take over a huge chunk of Britain's national debt. In exchange, the government would grant the company a monopoly on trade with South America, a region known then as the South Seas. The potential for riches seemed limitless. Gold, silver, and exotic goods from Spanish colonies were all part of the fantasy. There was just one tiny problem. Spain controlled those colonies, and Britain was at war with Spain. The actual trading rights the South Sea Company secured were incredibly limited. We were talking one ship per year and a slice of the slave trade. It was hardly the gold mine investors were promised. But in the world of high finance, perception is often more powerful than reality. The company's founders, including the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Robert Harley, were masters of hype. They weren't just selling a business. They were selling a dream. The real scheme kicked off in 1720. The company proposed to absorb the entire British national debt, a staggering sum of over £30 million. To make this work, they needed people to swap their government bonds for South Sea Company stock. To convince them, the company had to make its stock look like the hottest ticket in town. And that's when the real manipulation began. The company's directors started spreading wild, unsubstantiated rumors about fantastical profits and secret trade deals. They used installment plans, allowing people to buy shares with just a small down payment, making it feel like anyone could get in on the action. This created a frenzy. The stock price, which started the year at around £128, began to climb. First to 175, then 300. By May, it had rocketed to over £500 a share. Everyone wanted a piece of the pie. We're not just talking about wealthy merchants. We're talking about lords, ladies, farmers, and servants. People sold their homes, their land, and their life savings to buy South Sea stock. The atmosphere in London was electric. Coffee houses on Exchange Alley were packed with frantic traders. And new, often ridiculous, bubble companies popped up daily, promising everything from importing giant donkeys to creating a wheel of perpetual motion. Behind the scenes, however, something much darker was happening. The South Sea Company directors weren't just hyping the stock. They were actively engaging in what we would now call insider trading and market manipulation. They secretly loaned money to politicians and influential figures to buy shares, essentially bribing them to support the company. They even gave out stock as outright gifts to key members of parliament and the royal court to ensure political backing for their scheme. Even Sir Isaac Newton, one of the greatest scientific minds in history, got swept up in the mania. He invested early, made a handsome profit, and cashed out. But as he watched the stock continue to soar, the fear of missing out became too much. He jumped back in with a much larger investment right near the peak. It was a decision he would come to regret deeply. As the stock price reached an insane peak of over £1,000 in August 1720, the directors of the company knew the game was up. The company had no real profits to justify this valuation. The trade with the South Seas was practically non-existent. It was a house of cards, and they quietly began to sell their own shares, cashing out for enormous profits while the public was still being encouraged to buy. The tipping point came in the late summer. A few smart investors started to realize the emperor had no clothes. They began to sell. Then, as a cascade of selling started, panic set in. The installment payments on the shares were coming due, and people who had borrowed heavily to invest couldn't pay. The flood of sell orders became a tsunami. The stock price collapsed just as quickly as it had risen. From over £1,000 in August, it plummeted back down to under £200 by the end of September. The crash was catastrophic. Fortunes were wiped out in an instant. People who were millionaires on paper one week were bankrupt the next. The public was furious. They had been lied to, manipulated, and robbed. There were riots in the streets and people demanded justice. Sir Isaac Newton lost a fortune, equivalent to millions in today's money. He later famously remarked, I can calculate the motion of heavenly bodies but not the madness of people. The aftermath was a political and financial earthquake. A parliamentary inquiry was launched, and what it uncovered was shocking. Widespread corruption, bribery of government officials, and fraudulent accounting were all exposed. Key company directors had their estates confiscated to compensate investors. Some politicians were disgraced, and the Chancellor of the Exchequer was even briefly imprisoned in the Tower of London. The South Sea Bubble became a defining moment in financial history. It led to new regulations, like the Bubble Act, designed to prevent the formation of such speculative companies without a royal charter. More importantly, it served as the first brutal lesson in the dangers of speculative manias, corporate fraud, and the herd mentality that can grip markets. So what can we learn from a 300-year-old scandal? The story of the South Sea Bubble is a timeless warning. It shows how easily hype can overtake reality, how greed can lead to collective delusion, and how the promise of easy money can make even the smartest people do foolish things. The technologies have changed, but human psychology hasn't. The patterns of the South Sea Bubble, the speculative frenzy, the insider corruption, the devastating crash have been repeated time and time again. From the dot-com bubble of the 90s to the financial crisis of 2008, it's a powerful reminder to always be skeptical, to do your own research, and to remember that if something seems too good to be true, it almost certainly is. The South Sea Company promised a golden future built on fantasy, and when the illusion shattered, it took the fortunes of a nation with it. And then, in 1720, the bubble finally burst. Stocks that had been worth a fortune just days before became almost worthless overnight. Families lost life savings, merchants went bankrupt, and politicians, yes, even those trusted in Parliament, were caught in the web of insider trading. The South Sea Bubble wasn't just a financial disaster. It was a wake-up call. It was the first modern stock market crash, showing the world how greed, speculation, and deception could destroy fortunes and lives faster than anyone could imagine. And the craziest part? The lessons from 1720 are still relevant today. From cryptocurrencies to meme stocks, history has a way of repeating itself when people ignore the warning signs. So next time someone promises sky-high profits with little risk, remember the South Sea Bubble. Fortune can vanish in an instant if greed takes over. What do you think? Could a bubble like this happen again in our modern markets? Comment below. And if you want to uncover more shocking stories of history's biggest financial scams, hit subscribe and check the description for the full deep dive video. History repeats, only if we fail to learn from it. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this dive into financial history fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about the events that shaped our world only on HistoroMystic. Let me know in the comments what other historical events you'd like to see covered. See you in the next video.